There was a moment where I didn't know if we'd be able to make this video. Rara Thomas in the headlines for the wrong reasons for Georgia early in his tenure did get arrested. It's all indications that that's an internal punishment. He is fine and will be part of the team. I would imagine he'll have to kind of overcome some of those things. But we're here to discuss what he does on the field and why Georgia brought him on anyway. Important, though, to note of what he's dealt with kind of off the field since he got to Georgia. Plenty of stories at ugasports.com to tell you what happened there, what that's all about. We're here to talk football right now. Rara Thomas coming to Georgia. I'm Dayne Young. That's Brent Rollins. We do Film Don't Lie from ugasports.com. Brent, a bigger receiver in Rara Thomas from Eufaula, Alabama, 6'2", 200 pounds, had 44 catches last season for Mississippi State, 626 yards and 7 touchdowns. My overwhelming takeaway, though, is that may he rest in peace, the late Mike Leach complained about his receivers all season long and how they wouldn't go do contested catches. We'll see a few of those here, but down the stretch, Rara Thomas, maybe not exactly what the performance I think a lot of Georgia fans would expect to see, knowing that he transferred from Mississippi State to Georgia.
Yeah, and he's a true X, like the outside guy, size, go win one-on-ones on the outside. And the interesting part about all of this, we've already sort of done it. For those of you looking for us talking about Dominic Lovett, you can find it on our YouTube page as well. But the timing of all this, given how both of these guys came early in the sort of portal world, and then A.D. Mitchell subsequently transferring out to Texas, it's almost like, hey, I guess we kind of knew something was going on there. But in terms of play style, body style, position fit, with A.D. Mitchell leaving, this guy is that in terms of a replacement from a fit perspective.
I did wonder if Rara Thomas and Ryland Goody just kind of shake each other's hands in Birmingham as they cross, one school to the next.
Get it, like in terms of apartment or dorm rooms or something like
that. Just sharing all their living information. Yeah, they can just switch lives.
Well, one of the things with him, like you said in the opening, 6'2", 200 pounds, and can go win contested catch balls. Last 2 years, 14 of 24 that he's caught in contested catch situations. Right, that's near 60%, and that's where you want to be as an outside type receiver. You're not going to necessarily win them all, but if you get into that 60% or more or better range, it's somebody who, and these even further, we're going to look at some even further into the stats. It gets even better for him as a contested catch guy.
He's a guy that at the point of the catch, he does attack and try to grab the football away. And he has very strong arms, strong hands in trying to do that. And you see it here, decent balance to kind of stay on his feet too, to be able to get this after the catch and score.
And speaking of that, you definitely see it on this play. All right, physical catch point, and then bye-bye. See you later. And that's what's interesting about, now granted, Mississippi State's offense we know is completely different. But he was at like 6.2 yards after the catch per reception. So, they have a lot of crossers, some slants, things like that. But it's also his own playmaking ability. And when you look at back over the last 4 or 5 years of Georgia kind of X outside receiver types in terms of yards after the catch, it just doesn't exist. Like A.D. Mitchell, Jermaine Burton, George Pickens, Lawrence Cager, Riley Ridley, none of them were over 4 yards after the catch per reception. And this, he was at 6.2. So granted, it's somewhat of his offensive style in contested catch situations. You're not really going to oftentimes get yards after the catch, but he showed an ability to, one, make the catch, and then two, do something with it after the fact.
Some stylistic things too, in the sense that like he would get the ball at 5 yards more frequently than maybe a lot of Georgia receivers would. Georgia tends to go a little bit more vertical. Mississippi State would do a lot of 3-yard passes and do that for forever. And so you just, more volume of potential yards after the catch. And he had some. He also had some where he didn't. We'll get to some of the things with Rob where maybe not quite as good. Strong hands, I wouldn't say the most consistent.
And the ability, the next one is the ability to high point the ball. Like, what are you looking in that outside guy? All right, can you go high point it and go dunk on somebody? And LSU's corners, by the way, both are, 6'1", 6'2", big corners last year. And he just dunks on this guy.
great placement from Will Rogers. And then the high pointing is always something that I think receivers practice. But as important as that, where are your feet when you come down? Because so many people get pushed out of bounds on this kind of play. I think Rara has really good body control to get down in bounds.
And you think about what he does here with the football. I always watch how these guys catch the ball, and because, like, for example, Pickens had some of the smallest hands. I think my hands are actually bigger than George Pickens' hands, like from the combine. Like, he had some of the smaller hands that just shockingly small hands, but his ability to contort and then catch, and then Pickens would always do sort of a great job of curling in once he caught the ball. This one, he straight up catches this and then just, MJ palms it. And that's where the guy's probably got some bigger hands to go make those plays.
Pause, I think, is what they say around these Bulldog mascots.
Here, winning one-on-one on the outside. Like, all right, hey, it's 3rd and 8. They're bringing the blitz, playing man underneath. Go win your one-on-one battle. This is 12-yard out. Rogers does a good job of throwing on time. Extends to make the catch because it wasn't like an easy, true breadbasket catch. And then go get up the field.
That's what I like, is the 2 hands away from the body. I think too often you see receivers either try to tip it to themselves or, their other arm that's furthest away from the ball doesn't come around. Put 2 hands out there, you're more likely to catch it. It's just science.
Now this one. So this is an over 20-yard target, contested catch situation. He was 3 of 3. 3 opportunities, 3 catches last season on those in that situation. And thus, like, that's a big deal when it's, in this case, 3rd and 7. I just want to go take a shot, or maybe it's even 2nd and 7. And I know I got one-on-one on the outside. Go take a shot and go see if my guy can make a play. And you're getting 75% odds or better, or better, or 2/3 or better odds on that. All right. Okay. It's something, it's a shot worth taking.
Well, and on this, this is physical play from Auburn all the way down the field, and it does not phase him at all.
No,
very strong. It's going to take a really big player doing some hand fighting to get him off of the route that he wants to go.
Good work off the line as well. And you're going to see that here quick. I think it's the next one. Yeah. Sort of a skinny post, not quite slant, that he just house calls. But to me, the biggest thing here is that the instant win on the outside, where it's, I get you one way and I put my foot in the ground and I can accelerate past you. That's what, to me, is most impressive about this.
Good timing. I still think Will Rogers is a good quarterback. Good timing on this.
Well, I mean, it's just, he's accurate. And I think he's going to get a chance. He might not get drafted.
Didn't have.
But much like Minshew, I could see where he hangs around, especially if he gets an opportunity to play and plays decently.
Hey, here's a game I was at.
Yeah. And like we said, both of these guys, Georgia scouted, Georgia played against, so they know what they're getting. And here, this is one where, like we talked about with Leach's offense, you're going to get more a lot of times with the way they run mesh, but still he's making plays with the football after getting it in his hands, making people miss, getting up the field. I think this was one of 2 catches he had against Georgia. I think he was 2 for 6. One catch was almost a lost yardage play, and then this one I think he had for like 24 yards.
But you see how they get him on a matchup inside, where inside linebackers chasing him. He's got more foot speed than a lot of inside linebackers. Wouldn't say Rara's a burner, but I would say that you can find a way to get good matchups with him just because he's kind of lanky like that. But you get him in the open field, he's really coordinated.
Good strides. Chews up a lot of grass quickly with the strides. Now the issues.
Not quite as great with Rara. Yeah.
Some concentration issues. Drops. He had 6 of them.
And I think this is what Mike Leach had alluded to with his team.
It's like, because that's actually going to be a play that they at least, 2nd and 11, and you probably get 4 or 5 yards and set up, third and 6, third and 7 there because Tyke's busy attacking the guy in front of him as opposed to the guy who might actually have the ball. So, that's one where you got to have that. And there's another one, a couple other ones coming up where it's just you got to have that. And then there's this. This one might be more egregious in terms of the Olay than Lovett, the one we looked at with Lovett in the video, because this is not optimal. Ooh, he's like Roger Dorn with the Olay.
Well, and we do this all the time to where like it's okay just to get in the way and stop someone from going in a direct path, but you cannot run by them.
No, 100%. And it's much like playing defense in basketball. Just stay in front of people. Don't give up the open layup as a defender. Don't let the guy instantly beat you. Now, back does a good job of being physical and getting something out of this, but that's just And is that something they had to do a lot at Mississippi State? No. Is that something that he's definitively going to have to do to get on the field at Georgia? Yes. Like we talked about in the Lovett video, you got to be physical. And here, again, concentration issue, big third down, the old drop.
Can I make a circle bigger? Because he's all
that's almost the whole screen. Now got the safety coming down, but yes, that is the definition of open. I think that's the definition of wide open.
That means everything. And like LSU's a good team. This is early in the season. I get that. But like, look at the score at this point. Like if you go up 20-7 on a team in LSU that just lost to Florida State at the beginning of the season, new coach and everything, they're also getting their like this could have been massive.
Yeah. And it's a game that they had in control until the end, till the last like 10 minutes of the game.
And then finally one more.
And this one, not as much, I don't think, on him. I mean, it's a ball. He's got to go. The ball is a little low. It's not perfect ball placement. He's coming to the inside. But I will say one of the things that you think about an elite offense, you got so many opportunities. And this is first down. It's like, oh, man, a little low. I didn't get that one. No big deal. Georgia's primary sort of identity on offense is efficiency. And when you drop this ball, and now you're screwing with our efficiency and putting us in second and long, and we don't want to be there. Like that's a coach is saying, get your hind end sliding onto the ground and go make the play. Make the catch no matter what. I don't care if you get the yak here because we're going to be efficient. We're going to move the ball down the field and do what we do. So I think that's one where that. But drops were a little bit of an issue, and if he has those here, he won't play as much as well. Don't block, won't play as much, but he can make plays. That's for sure.
With the two transfer receivers coming in, you mentioned that it pretty obvious that Georgia felt like A.D. Mitchell could be going somewhere. He indeed does, and that this is insurance for other situations. Pretty easy to connect the dots with Lovett being insurance or a compliment to Ladd McConkey. Do you see Rara Thomas more in the A.D. Mitchell role, or do you see Rara Thomas more as insurance if – I mean, Marcus Rosemary-Jackson ain't a starter at Georgia for a reason, right? Is it in that lane, or are those different?
I think they go play them all. I think he's obviously depth. You want to have depth. You don't want to have – because, like, for example, can you count on Arian Smith? Yes, he played double-digit games a year ago, but he's also, maybe you get more out of him this year, and he's healthy all the year. Rosemary-Jackson has missed time with injuries, but it was one big one, but he still has missed time. You need depth. You need experienced depth. You need, experienced SEC level depth. And you're getting that with these two guys. And, if they go make plays and show up and, sort of flip the switch in a way because of the new program, new environment, hey, this is my time to shine. And you get the best out of them, much like you got with Darion Kendrick for 1 year. Gravy.
Pretty good track record with transfer receivers under the Kirby Smart era. I mean, I think of Cager coming in. from Miami is the big one that in that era of Georgia football, he was as stable as you had at wide receiver. Been a little bit more stable since then, so you get to have pieces that are accents like this rather than leaning on them to be the guy, because I think it's pretty, at least in my eyes, Ladd McConkey is the receiver on the team for the upcoming season.
Mm-hmm. Yes, has been for the last 2 years.
Him and Brock Bowers.
Yes, best catchers of the bowl coming back.
Hey, if you like what we do here from UGAsports.com, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure you hit the thumbs up on this if that's your jam there too. If you're on Facebook, like that page. We'll be back with more off-season Film Don't Lie content. And we have a discussion to have about Mike Bobo and what he's going to be doing with this roster at Georgia. We're marinating on that. We're going to let some of this settle and come back. I know you're diving through the data on there. If you're a member at UGAsports.com, you can see some of the work that Brent put on the dog vent to show what Mike Bobo could have in store for Georgia. That's what we call a tease in television. Thanks for watching, everyone.